What's going on?
Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So what's it not doing?
Oh, it says it's not adding to the stream.
So,
I'm not sure what's going on right now. Like, we're live, but it's not adding it into the stream for some reason. Like, I'm in the stream, obviously, but it's not in the stream.
so you obviously are using my account,
Exactly.
and well, let me go back and see what we got here.
So everyone can hear the stream, but yeah, they can't see it. For some reason, it's not adding the video, and I'm in
Okay,
like solo layout.
I'm gonna go check it.
Oh, shocker. Oh.
I just looked at the way you set it up. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let me look now.
Yeah, exactly. Deformed, select the overlay.
Let me see here.
I'm on all the options, and it's not doing anything. Oh my god!
Wait a minute, yeah. So I haven't looked, but you're saying that we're on right now. People are watching, but they can't.
They can hear us. Yeah. So everyone, sorry, technical difficulties right now. Apologize for this. We're trying to figure it out at this very moment.
Wait a minute. What are we trying to figure out if everybody can hear us?
They can hear us, but they can't see us.
Well,
weird.
Okay, well, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the graphic up there, and they can hear us. So it has something to do with the brand option here and pulling down that. Bam.
Boom. There you go.
So you just have to go into brand and either put the graphic up or take it down.
That's fine. We're just gonna roll with this. You know what? Mark to the rescue, the voice of college football as usual, and we appreciate Mark for letting us have this platform. So, Mark saving the day once again, figuring out the simple things. We will figure this stuff out for you guys. Welcome to College Football After Dark. We're going to talk about week 0, some of the things, week 1 coming up, and discuss any topics you guys have in those chats. We appreciate it. But let's go ahead and we'll bring in some other people too to join us with Mark. We've got Will, of course, Notre Dame.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm sorry. It's my team. I love the Irish.
Not everyone can be perfect, Will. It's okay.
I know.
We've got Joey, West Virginia.
Hey, everyone. So 3 days, 21 hours, 20 minutes, and 13 seconds to the game that really matters. The backyard brawl.
Penn State, Purdue. Awesome. Can't wait.
Don't matter to me.
We've got TVM.
You just lined us up for Thursday night, Joey. That's the first thing that came to mind was Penn State, Purdue. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that'll be. But they're 4 hours and 21 minutes away. We're 3 hours, 21 minutes away. They kick off an hour after us.
Let's kick it in. We got D4, Texas.
What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mark, for letting us have the platform.
Hey.
Ben for coming up with the idea, and everybody else for coming in and talking some great football. And appreciate every one of you in the comment section. Please hit that like button. It goes a long way.
Most great technological endeavors start with some kind of glitch. So this is a good sign.
It's week 0 for us, too.
Shocking it would happen. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm John. One Scoop John / John Yadamo, and go blue.
Let's throw in Jordan here, the man.
Nope, can't hear you, Jordan.
I'm the one ACC guy here. What's up, everybody? So I'm going to be here carrying the water for the All Clemson Conference. So if you please leave your complaints in the comments.
Some people would like to tell you that Will's part of your conference, and some people would tell you that Joey wants to be part of your conference.
They wish. I don't need to bring up the one time Notre Dame was in the conference, do I?
Well, we got LBC, who's running from the Pac-12 as fast as they can.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Mark. Love the show. We're finally here. College football season. And I got to compliment One Scoop John. It looks like you just styled your lettuce or you got a haircut or something, man. You're looking good.
Man. You're looking good.
You got your right for college
Appreciate
football.
that.
Look at that. Looking good.
Nice.
John, go ahead and drop, whatever social media you have in case anybody wants to slide in the DMs, because you're probably going to get a couple requests after tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't leave out the strategist, the guy with the numbers. Tony.
Hey guys, fight on Trojans. Excited for the real season to start.
Good to have my wingman.
Hey, we got to be here. And the third part of our little Trojan triumvirate, Tim is not feeling so well tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he'll be back with us later in the week.
He might stop by later, he said, but he needs to rest up and hopefully he feels better, soon, obviously.
We have too many Pac-12 guys. This is the Pac-12 show.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's after dark. This is when the vampires come out. It's after dark.
You notice the little intro? That's so Pac-12. That's like the refs making a mistake. Takes 5 minutes to reverse the call or understand the call. It's great.
And then they still didn't have all the cameras plugged in correctly. I mean, that's the Pac-12 right there.
Hey, it's like we're not fraud. We don't know what we're doing.
We feel at home.
Right. I'm going to call an onside kick.
With 12 guys on the field. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, guys. What do you?
Well, they don't do that in South Bend.
What did you guys take away from week 0? What did you guys take away? Like, what was your game of the week?
That Scott Frost don't know what momentum means in a game, and being ahead in a game, and makes stupid calls when he's got an 11-point lead. The dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. So that's about all I learned in week 1 from Nebraska is that they're gonna go 3-9 again. It's looking that way.
Ouch.
That's rough. I don't know. I took away that Frost, he needed to win that game. I'll tell you, if something went wrong in that kick, I don't know what it was. I don't know if they went to the wrong guy. I don't know if they made the wrong read. I don't know if Northwestern stopped doing what they were doing when they saw it in film. So I don't know what actually went wrong. If it had not gone wrong, he'd have been the hero. And unfortunately, the problem is he's on such a short leash and on such thin ice that there's just no room for something that big to go wrong. I think that's what killed him. I think that we shouldn't pick on that one play, but that one play is sort of an exemplar of like, okay, the deal was this kind of stuff was going to stop happening, and it hasn't stopped happening.
If we're going to kill, sorry, go ahead.
I think there's an absolute lack of trust issue with Scott Frost. He gave up the play calling to Mark Whipple, and yet with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, he had to make a call. And why he would call that play just goes to show he can't get out of his own way.
He wanted to become a Sean Payton, but instead he's just still Scott Frost.
Instead, he becomes Clay Helton.
I never coached on the college level. I've coached on the high school level, and I've been the D coordinator, and I've been, a part of all these game plans. If they seen something on film that told them that they were going to go for an onside kick in that certain situation, that's one thing. But you have to think, you have all the momentum. Nebraska had not moved the ball. They have absolutely done nothing to show you anything in the second half thus far. You have to, as a head coach, when you hear that come down on the headset, you have to say no, nix it, just kick the ball. And he chose not to do that. He chose, I guess, I don't know whether he has a bad habit of putting it on his players or on his coordinators as it is. I don't know if he did it this time. I didn't watch the press conference afterwards, but you have to have that situational awareness as being the head coach, knowing that all the pressure's on you anyway, to not make that call.
It was an overly aggressive call. He felt overly confident for some reason, or there was some look that they were supposed to get. He needed to tell people, don't do it. Like, there's no need to do it at that point. You're already up again for the second time, 2 scores.
So I did see a little bit of that press conference, and his justification for it was they had a look that they liked. That
they saw something.
They had talked in practice about being more aggressive this year and more aggressive week 0. It just wasn't the right time to make that call. I think we can pretty much all agree on that.
But there's so many plays that.
Ben, you had a super chat come in. If you'll click on that super chat, it'll put it on the screen.
There's so many plays like that, though. Yeah, there's so many plays like that, though, guys, that like most of the plays that we look at and we define as a heroic play could have just as easily gone completely south.
And no, I do. I actually want to talk about the flip side of that, Tony, and something that Pat Fitzgerald did. For as much as we want to sit here and kill Scott Frost for making that onside kick decision, I think we saw a side of Pat Fitzgerald and a willingness to be aggressive at their end of the first half drive that literally won them the game. And if it goes the other way, it looks real bad, but it's literally the reason they won. When they were down 14-10 with about 1:45 left in the second quarter, they had a 4th and 1 on their own 38-yard line where where had the easy decision there, down 14-10, hanging in the game, the thing no one's going to question in the after game press conference is to just kick the punt there, move on, go to the second half, get the ball back to start the third quarter. You're still in the game. But what they did is not only did they not punt, the second decision, like the second most conservative thing, and what you should at least do, right, is go try to draw them off sides and get a first down that way, and then you punt. But what they actually did is they had 4th and 1 on their own 38 with a minute 45. If they don't get it, Nebraska just as easily scores a touchdown and goes into halftime 21-10. But Northwestern gets on the ball, does the whole like reset thing. Nebraska doesn't actually jump off sides, but then they actually go for it. They get it. They have a great drive to end the half to go up 17-14 at halftime in a game where if they don't score that touchdown, they lose by 4 points. They end up winning by 3. And, we're here sitting killing Scott Frost, but I do want to point out what great of a decision that was, an aggressive decision, especially from a team that needs to make aggressive decisions as an underdog to win.
So I think that magnifies the execution part of this. Decisions have to be made by the coach, and they should be smart, calculated decisions, obviously. But if the execution doesn't come through, then if Pat Fitzgerald, and I think the world of Pat Fitzgerald, I think he's one of the best coaches in college football, but I've seen him do some stupid things. I've seen him almost blow a bowl game because he did some stupid things, like what he did there. He blew a 4th down where he could have ended the game, and he went for it and was aggressive, and he gave Kentucky the ball back, and they could have lost the game. So if Pat Fitzgerald,
thank goodness he was playing Kentucky.
If he doesn't make it, yes, exactly. If he doesn't make it on 4th and 1 at his own 38, then Nebraska scores to take the lead, or take a 2-score lead. Then we're talking about Pat Fitzgerald and saying, what a dummy. They should have just packed it in and gone in 14-10. So his team executed, and I think Pat Fitzgerald's phenomenal. And I do think that the onside kick was a stupid thing to do, because I think there's 2 basic reasons why you onside kick. You're either down by 1 million points, it's 28-0, and there's 5 minutes left in the game, and you just onside kick because you're trying to come back. Or it's a calculated gamble to say, okay, we have a great setup when we get a certain look, as they thought they probably did, but usually it's when you're down by a score and you can't stop them. You can't stop the other team, and you're like, we got to flip possessions here, so let's take the calculated risk to flip possessions and gain control of this game back.
Yeah, kind of like what Nick Saban did.
I'm sorry, George.
Kind of like what Nick Saban did in the national championship back in 2015.
Yeah.
They were struggling to stop Deshaun Watson in that game, and they felt like they had to steal a possession because they weren't getting the stops on defense, and Nick Saban looks like a genius. But I mean, that's the kind of the setting and situation and where you do that kind of stuff when you feel like the game is kind of getting away from you, and you don't feel like it. If you don't get steal this possession, then it's going to end up costing you. And so that was definitely not situationally it doesn't really make sense. And so that's kind of the only times that you do it.
So I think we're all that.
I felt like Fitzgerald, there was a lot of times when it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, and he'd run the ball up the middle. I mean, I didn't understand those calls. It was like I was watching Kirby Smart call the game. Run the ball up the middle, run the ball up the middle. That's all I've seen out of Pat Fitzgerald, and I couldn't understand those calls. I can understand it occasionally to try to catch them off guard, but it was like every time it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 or something, run the ball. And I think you got to put the ball down the field occasionally and try to get that first down.
Especially
another thing too, everybody's hollering. Yeah, everybody's hollering to fire Scott Frost, but remember his contract. He's got a $15 million buyout right now, and if they wait till October, it goes to $7 million. So I think he's fine till October. They'll hold out for that.
They're going to
see how he does.
Save money, maybe.
Joey, Joey, just to give, and I don't know the specific situations you're talking about, but just to give you a little bit of an idea sometimes of why they're doing that, other than just like, there's times where it's 3rd and 8, and I don't know actually if there's like an analytics company that works for maybe half of these college teams, and I don't know if Northwestern is part of them or not. But there are times, and I'm not saying this is every time that he did it, or that your point of him being too conservative isn't the point. But some of the time when you see them on like 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9, and they're just running up the middle, the idea is that if they get a certain number of yards on that play, then they're going to go for it on 4th down. And so some of the times you see that and it doesn't work, and they get stuffed, and now it's 3rd and 7 and they punt. And everyone wonders like, well, why are we just running up the middle on 3rd and 8? But some of the times the idea is, well, if we're lucky, then we pick it all up. But there's other times where it puts us into a 4th down decision where the analytics book says, okay, now we're allowed to go for this. Outside of like other times there's like game management and time thoughts, right? But that's the reason why it happens sometimes.
There's so much more to it that I think that a lot of times we as fans don't know.
So I think we're all in agreement. Nebraska.
You're totally right, T-Man.
Not a great way to start the season. Not a great way at all.
No, the worst possible way, because not only did they do it, but they did it in front of the world.
Yeah.
So like everybody knows Nebraska's problem. Everybody knew what was going on, and then they did exactly the worst possible thing they could have done in front of the world. Like if they lost by 21, people have been like, "Wow, Northwestern's really good," But they just they made Nebraska into a verb yet again. Like Nebraska to create a Nebraska, and that's not what we like. In fact, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, they got owned by the Big Sky on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
that was great. That was just.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
I have a question for the group. What do you all think happened between 2017 when UCF got the Colley Matrix National Championship to the Nebraska? I mean, I know that one thing is the recruiting is different, obviously in Central Florida versus Nebraska. It's a bit tougher place to recruit, but are there some other things that maybe have caused this fall from grace, so to speak?
Yeah,
I think level of competition.
Competition. Yeah, level of competition, because you look at Scott Frost there. Okay, then you take Tom Herman at Houston and how great he was there, and then he brought him to Texas, and he didn't set the world on fire. Look at my own coach, Neil Brown. At Troy, he went 10-3, 3 straight years. Comes to West Virginia, and he can't get past 7 wins. So, we're hoping for a better season this year. But I think it's just a level of competition. When you step up from a group of 5 to a power 5, I don't think you understand how big a body you need, how much speed you need in a Power 5 conference, and you're still trying to recruit those other players. So,
well, the other thing that I think happens a lot as well, it happens here too, and this is the same thing that did Clay Helton in. I think once people see you circling the drain, your ability to really get those great recruits and the great things that you need to sustain the program, you can't do it anymore. And I think that's been accelerated a lot in our current social media driven, recruit driven, all the millions recruiting sites and all that. It's killing them. And so they have trouble getting those recruits. Whereas in Central Florida, he was able to elevate the program, and Nebraska, he's almost never really not been circling the drain. And I think that really is coming back to haunt him.
And I want to know, because Josh Heupel was under Scott Frost in Central Florida. I wonder how much of the offensive success was due to Josh Heupel.
It's thoughtful. I mean, Scott Frost he's a well-respected offensive mind, and I think that's been to his detriment in some ways, especially the last few years, because college football coaches are very ego-driven. I'm not really telling anybody anything new here, but when you've had that kind of success, like Scott Frost had at UCF, you kind of it's kind of hard to relinquish control of a lot of aspects of the program. And I think at UCF He was very involved in the game, especially the offensive game plan. He pretty much was, he made a lot of the decisions. And so at Nebraska, he kind of carried that over. And I know that this year he's kind of tried to relinquish and kind of give that up a little bit, to Mark Whipple. But, there's still a lot of aspects of, his ego that are still within the game plan. And, he thinks it's like, well, we should do it my way. This is the best way to do it. And that just kind of carries over, especially when you've had that kind of success. And it's kind of like it's been to his detriment. And so now, like Tony said, when coaches can smell blood in the water, and when they see you circling the drain, like Tony said, you're going to get negatively recruited pretty hard. And so I already know the kind of conversations that opposing coaches have had to recruits about about Scott Frost and that program. Is like, why would you go over there? He's going to be fired at the end of this year anyway. And so last year didn't inspire any kind of confidence, and it's kind of just been exacerbated. And Lord knows what's happening now since that game was played. Prospective recruits and all that.
And that, by the way, is not new. So when my dad was looking at colleges in the spring of 1962, and Notre Dame was about to fire their sorry ass coach, and they really wanted him, and he was like, "Why am I going to go there? There's zero chance this guy survives." And he didn't. The guy got fired, and they brought in the guy from Northwestern, somebody named Ara Parsegian, but that ended up working out. So yeah, but that's none of that's actually new. It's just I think it's just accelerated in today's age.
All right. So what else we got for week 0, guys? What else?
Well, Darrell was just pointing out. Does this mean Vanderbilt might win some real games this year?
It was Hawaii.
Hawaii. Does that count as an indicator of what they're going to do?
It's Vanderbilt. They haven't scored 63 points since 1969. So
that Wake Forest game is interesting though, because
it is
without Sam Hartman. That's a winnable game for Vandy. They could finally be a Power 5 team for the first time in a while.
Massey has it as like a 2.5 point game, and I don't know if that's that accurate, but Vandy's going to be 2-0 at home. They don't draw a huge crowd. Everyone knows that. But, Sam Hartman's not around. I would expect Wake to win that game, but I think it might be a little bit more of a fight than Wake Forest fans thought it would be maybe 2 weeks ago.
I mean, let's be honest.
Hawaii, John, we're gonna get to talking about the backyard brawl. Don't worry. Thank you for that.
Hawaii wasn't that good to begin with, and then their team got decimated by everyone transferring out and having a little to nothing left. So for Vanderbilt to keep the throttle on to beat them 63 to whatever, good for them. But it would be the Vanderbilt thing to do to turn around and lose to Elon next week.
Well, what got me was how easy Hawaii made it look on that first drive to go down and score. If Vanderbilt was playing a team that mattered, that they, and they let a team open up on an opening drive like that, how fast Hawaii went down the field, they could be in big trouble this year. So they better.
That's what Vandy does every week against anybody who matters. Give up an opening drive touchdown.
Yeah.
I was pulling for Hawaii. That was a sad night.
Now, one thing I took out of the week was FSU having 3 running backs over 100 yards. I don't care who you're playing. That's pretty good to have 3 running backs over 100 yards.
Yeah, they look pretty good. And I was talking about this with Mark the other night on the call-in show. That they've done a lot to kind of overhaul that roster, and Mark mentioned how the strength and conditioning has been a lot better. According to the FSU guys, who do some great stuff. You guys should go check that channel. I'll go to check out the Florida State channel. They do some really great stuff and great coverage over there. But I think they've done a good job. And that the offensive line looks a lot better. Even I know it was Duquesne, but just from just looking at them, they look more physically like a Power 5 offensive line. It seemed at times in the past several years where they were undersized or guys not playing in their natural positions. I don't think that's the case as much this year. I'm still a little concerned about the depth in some places, but I think they have a really solid starting 5, and you haven't been able to say that about Florida State in a while. And I think they're going to get good quarterback play. I'm really interested to see what who steps up at receiver. But I think this Florida State team is probably better than a lot of the ones we've seen in the last few years. So
I was literally going to say that, like, there have been Florida State teams in the last few years where that score could have been a 1 or 2 score game, or maybe even an L under Taggart. So
Duquesne doesn't even give scholarships, though. They're not even Jacksonville State.
That's true.
Hey, TBM, your Bruins are getting some love. Are we throwing 4s in the air for this one? What's going on?
Don't think that's realistic, but
it's possible. I don't think it's probable.
But that would just be perfect for Chip Kelly to have like an outstanding year, and then all the players that he brought in the transfer portal leave, and now that he's having to rebuild the roster again, but then UCLA already extends him, and maybe UCLA has a not so great year the next year. That'd be totally UCLA.
I would love for them to be all the way undefeated until the Trojans get them.
That's so copying Lynn Swan and USC extending Helton.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's the L? Is it going to be USC? Is it like who's the one?
Utah, possibly.
Yeah,
Utah.
Utah.
Chip Kelly goes 11.
Go Chip Kelly. Go Chip Kelly.
Actually, the most UCLA thing would be to go 11-1, and that loss is to Alabama State.
I'll take it right now.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't take it. Take that deal. Take that deal.
That means
If the devil himself offers you that deal, take it.
So that's a good point. We're on FSU talking about week 1. What do you think about FSU coming up next week?
I really am a big FSU fan. I will be chopping. while watching that game.
I wonder why.
Hey, don't doubt Brian Kelly. He's gonna have the Bayou Bengals ready to roll.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a tough game. If you go into it's a on paper it's a neutral site game, but we know how it's not, and we know how LSU plays in New Orleans. Trust me, I know. We didn't have a great experience the last time we played them in New Orleans. So they just get this. They get these magical powers. It's de facto home field, and so I mean it's a tough draw for Florida State. I think LSU is I don't know what the line is sitting at right now. I know LSU is a favorite. I don't. Maybe one of you guys know. It might be
It's about 3.5.
That's what I thought. I thought it might have been a field goal. But I think it's a game Florida State can win. But they just it's going to be hard. That offensive line is going to get tested because LSU probably has one of the best defensive lines in the SEC in the country.
Do they really?
I think so. They have some dudes on there. That's.
I mean, we always say that, but yet the last 2 years they've sucked. Sucked so bad. SEC Shorts made fun of them. So I academically believe that. I can look at recruiting rankings and stars and all that. But then again, we have a great graphic we're going to show you guys later this week of the 6 USC transfer quarterbacks that have 28 stars between them, all of whom were at the garage sale. So, I wonder a little bit, it wouldn't surprise me if FSU goes in there and wins, and we see that LSU is actually still rebuilding from 2 years of utter suctitude.
Yeah.
Come on, Jordan Travis, do it.
But,
I would take Florida State. I would take Florida State in that game.
I'm still leaning LSU, but I think LSU's issues the last couple of years have not really been on the defensive line. I think it's for a program that proclaims to be DBU, their secondary play these last few years has been pretty awful.
They don't have their play defense coming out.
I mean, it's why they were so abysmal that they had to clean house.
Yep.
I mean, their quarterback is from. Did they officially announce him yet? I don't know, but like, is from Arizona State, the biggest dumpster fire in the West Coast. Like, you can see the light of that dumpster fire from the Rockies.
This game seems like a coin flip. Honestly, it's kind of like one or the other. You don't know what you're going to get from either one. We haven't seen LSU at all. Hey, Mark, you wanted to give a little plug here for yourself, and we appreciate you taking your time to come in and, hang out with us.
Yes.
Always. So
yeah,
Thanks,
it's not like I don't have enough time to plug everything I've got going. Like, I can do that anytime, but I'm still asking for time out of your show to plug my stuff. But anyway, appreciate you guys doing this. This is phenomenal. We've only got like 35 minutes into this, and I can tell that it's phenomenal. And Ben obviously wanted to stick it to all the Husker fans by like blasting purple at them, I think, just like saturating the entire show with purple, Northwestern purple. But wanted to remind everyone that we've got our 24-hour marathon coming up Thursday at 4 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, 4 a.m. Eastern time. That's because Matt Zemek's going to clean up at the end from 2 to 4. So I moved it up. So I get going at 4 so he can finish things off the final 2 hours on the back end. But 4 a.m., 24-hour marathon. That's Thursday, our first day of college football for the official launch weekend, week 1. And then I'm going to have a Big Ten podcast, the Big Ten Paradigm, that's going to post here first thing in the morning on the College Football Coast to Coast platform that asked me to do a Big Ten podcast. So I got to figure out what that's going to sound like. So I got a few hours to work on that. So thanks, guys. This will be phenomenal. I'll be listening.
Thanks, Mark. And Ben, I have a question. I misunderstood. I thought all the purple was, Ben, I thought that was for your Huskies. No? The purple's not for Dubs in the air?
How dare you?
The dog with the WG?
No. But this is a great
what I assume the purple is for.
This is a great moment really quickly while Mark got off. We appreciate Mark giving us this platform as he does for everyone, but especially for us to come on, do what we do, and talk to each other and just have a good time. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to drop in the chat now for everyone. If you guys want to come in and chat with all of us here and others all the time, 24/7, make sure to join Mark on Patreon. I put the link in the chat. $5 a month. It's totally worth it. You can chat with us all the time, get on video, live streams. We're going to have an after party after this where we're going to keep going, even after this YouTube stream ends. So we appreciate everyone being in the chat, and hit the like and subscribe. Supports Mark a lot. What other games?
UNC looking not that great against FAMU. Like, I'm not saying like that FAMU isn't like a bad program, but they're an FCS program. North Carolina's
they were missing like 30 guys.
Yeah.
But let's not get that twisted. There was only three players on that were out that was on their 2 deep roster. So it's not like they had a bunch of starters out. There was only 3 players off their 2 deep that did not play.
And it's also not like it was close. Like we talked about this earlier today. This game reminded me of like what the Big Ten teams normally do. There's this mindset, at places like Alabama and Auburn, like some of the SEC schools, particularly some of the Big 12 schools, where they're like it's like they get off on how many points they can score on like a pathetic FCS opponent, versus like the Big Ten mindset is like, let's just win this game. Let's get people in. Let's warm ourselves up. The Big Ten schools do not feel a need to score 70 points on the Little Sisters of the Poor orphanage. And North Carolina reminded me a lot of a Big Ten school, how they were playing.
Yeah.
Or it could be wrong. That's not completely true, D4, because, I mean, it's true to a sense. But out of the 14 offensive linemen that FAMU has, only 7 played that game. Only 7. That's all they traveled to down there to the game was 7.
That's normal for any school.
Well, not really.
You
usually have 2
you don't bring 14 linemen to play. You have 7 to 8, and that may like your normal starters are going to play. You're five. You only can trot out literally 5 offensive linemen unless you set one up as a tight end or something. But you're not bringing 14 to play.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue was when they said, "Hey, we don't have these players." It's because they were worried about the depth. You know, it wasn't like, "Oh, we're missing our starters." It was just like, "What if someone goes down? Do we have someone who can replace them?"
Right.
Yeah, and also North Carolina wasn't like aiming for their knees. I mean, they're playing lousy. This is not like I think just people are reading way too much into this game. Now, again, I could be wrong, and North Carolina could stink, but I just got the impression that North Carolina was. And TBM, I'm stealing your quote. TBM put it best. He said, "Maybe North Carolina reminded me of a Big Ten school because they want to be one."
Yeah.
But yeah, just like I am an opponent actually of scheduling these FCS teams. I'm proud that my school has never played one and has no intentions of playing one. But I think that not like humiliating an FCS team is not a reflection on your like manhood. Like you don't need to overcompensate for your microdong by beating up on a convent football team.
Yeah, put up 50 or put up 70. What's the difference?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, go for it.
Why are we talking about FCS schools? Let's forget about the rearview mirror. Let's move forward. A lot of great games happening coming on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
How about Notre Dame versus Ohio State? How about that one?
Here we go.
That's gonna be a game.
The one game where I will root for Notre Dame. So even though somebody said I was a leprechaun in the chat here, I only root for Notre Dame if they're playing Ohio State. Okay, that's it.
Well, I might even be able to root for Notre Dame in this one too. I don't think they're gonna win, but I might be able to root. It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt me to do that.
I have nothing against Notre Dame. I'm all Irish. When
You're gonna make Mark come back on stream now, guys.
I'd like to.
Yep.
Mark is not coming back. I don't think.
Therese, that's actually probably a pretty solid bet. I'm not gonna lie. You've probably got a pretty solid bet right there.
Hey, Notre Dame covers in that scenario, so.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like.
I like 42-27. As a potential score, maybe.
I think we can, if we keep it under 35, I think we have a great chance of winning. I think we're going to have to just milk the clock with these possessions, with some short passes to Michael Mayer, some good runs by Chris Tyree. Like, we can probably go for a couple of deep throws to Lorenzo Styles, but we don't want to make it a shootout against OSU. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Hey, Will.
Don't do that.
Look what you guys have done down there.
I knew it.
Hey, Will, I'd like to see your quarterback, Tyler Buckner. Tyler, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I want to see Buckner actually show us what he's got. CJ Stroud, we know what he is. Tyler Buckner's from Southern California. And the fact that I don't even know who he is tells you all you need to know. He wasn't a major recruit out of Southern California. Everybody knows who.
Four-star.
Elite 11. How he's rated. Yeah.
He played at a small school. He wasn't on a major player. Bishop Diego should not be confused with St. John Bosco modern day.
It's no Bosco, but still, the problem is they put those damn gold helmets on, and the feet, like the hands of the four horsemen start reaching up through the ground, and they trip you, and they just, the band starts in with that little Irish jig, and it just haunts your soul, and they find a way to win.
He's gonna have to go in the shoe, and he's gonna have to move that team, be in control, and execute. Can he do it? We'll have to see. Can CJ Stroud do it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I like the dual threat nature of TB. Is that because we haven't really had that with Notre Dame very much? But
then again, if the Ducks can win, if the Ducks can win in the shoe, so can anybody.
Yeah.
He's gonna be running for his life. That's dual threat.
Yeah, well, it was Wimbush. Wimbush was the last dual threat, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So y'all are
he's more of a runner.
We got a little bit too much USC testosterone coming into this room right now.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'm moving you guys. I'm grouping you guys together in the chat. This is
give him a little, just give him a little pocket of
a little corner.
Yeah.
A little corner in the back.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Good
go.
evening, people. How are you?
So I'm speaking facts right here. You're down to 5 scholarship receivers, right, Will?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
I'll take Ohio State in a blowout.
I mean, it is fair. It's a little concerning, especially since the one Avery Davis is probably the most experienced guy in the room. Had the most starts.
Braden Lindsey also very experienced.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do because he's a burner. Braden Lindsey can really fly. So I'm really interested to see how they use him. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some carries, some running the ball some, especially.
I think Chris Tyree will be the fast running back.
Yeah, Tyree's going to get he's going to get the majority of the touches, but I think Lindsey's going to I wouldn't be surprised if they run Lindsey on some jet sweeps and stuff, and get him the ball in space because I mean the guy can run, so he's someone to watch. I was really disappointed last year because he wasn't really able to stay healthy, but I think he's going to be a big factor in that wide receiver room. So if he has a big game, I think that's a good sign.
I can't wait to see what I'm very curious about Knowles' the 4-2-5 scheme that he's putting in at Ohio State. I think it's going to be a prelude to see to the Big Ten play, to see how that goes. How does Notre Dame respond? At Oak State, it took, I think, a couple of years to get it going, but Ohio State has 5 stars all over the field. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, that's it. Everyone said Knowles, it takes him like 1 to 2 years to get that defense rolling, but now he has the most talent, he said himself, he's ever had. So is it going to click immediately, or is there going to be that growing pain, so to say, while they're trying to adjust to it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Oregon can run to the left like that and have that much success with our O-line, with the Harry Houston O-line, I feel like we'll be able to move the ball on the run to be able to pick up those first downs, milk the clock, and maybe eventually throw it deep to Braden Lindsey or Michael Mayer to finish off drives.
Yeah, the Ohio State defensive line, they can't afford to be as soft as they were last year because they're getting a really early test. I mean, Notre Dame's offensive line is one of the best in the country, and they've got some movers on that line, and so getting a pass rush, getting better play out of from their D tackles especially is going to be huge because that was something that they really missed last year, and that's why they got gashed, as well as the linebacker play, which hurt them arguably worse. So it's interested to see what Jim Knowles, just from a fundamental standpoint, how much improvement those guys make.
Hey, Will, if all else fails, just run left.
Yeah, I also think our D-line, I feel like people are sleeping on how good our defensive line is. I definitely think we can, I know Ohio State's probably going to have a good O-line. I don't know that much about the Ohio State offensive line. But we got Isaiah Foskey, who's from Tim's old school, De La Salle. This man is a monster. So are Jason and Justin Matamaniola. I mean, they're also great D linemen, along with Howard Cross. I feel like we can definitely get to CJ Stroud, make him throw it away, and also be able to stop the run. So,
stop the presses, everyone. We have somebody, Boomer in chat, knows CJ Stroud personally, and says he is focused. So I'm convinced. I'm sold.
It's a big game.
So we jumped ahead to the Saturday game. Let's back up a little bit to Thursday's games because there are a couple of big games. And we know that West Virginia's taking on Pitt. We also know, and then we also know Penn State's taking on Purdue. But West Virginia Pitt, that's a bigger game than a lot of people think because, I mean, college game day is going to be there. They're taking on 2 college game days this week. On Thursday, it'll be at Pitt, and then going to be at Ohio State on Saturday. So for them to bring in an extra college game day for this game, it tells you how big it is. I don't, this game kind of toss up to me. It was for a long time. At first, I had Pitt winning, But then when they lost Jordan Addison to USC, that was so much production for Pitt that I just think that they don't have a chance in this game. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win by double digits by any means. I think we'll win close. But Pitt, Pitt's just been a bad program for a lot of years. And last year they stumbled on a pretty good team. So can they carry that momentum into this year is what I'm wondering. And I just don't see it when they lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their quarterback. They lost the best wide receiver in the nation. They didn't just lose their best. They lost the best one in the nation. I don't see how they were going to be able to keep up the production they had last year. And their defense was ranked 42nd last year. Ours was ranked 45th. Both teams returned pretty much their defense intact. So there's not going to be a lot of difference in the defense standings in this game. So that's why my edge has to go to West Virginia in this. So and I'm not being a homer with that.
What production did West Virginia have last year?
Well, that's just it. We didn't on offense. We weren't very productive at all. I mean, and we throw the quarterback under the bus there, but we had a young offensive line, a very young offensive line that couldn't protect him. They're all back. They're all got that year of experience. They've all gotten bigger. They've all gotten faster. They've all gotten stronger. And we moved Wyatt Milam from right tackle to left tackle, and he's left-handed, and had him in a bad spot last year at right tackle, being left-handed. So I think there's going to be a huge difference in our offensive line this year.
Joey, let me point something out. You said a young offensive line. They're coming back. You have more experience. Let me take you back to 2019. USC had a very young offensive line. First game of the year against Fresno State, and they came and knocked out JT Daniels. JT Daniels is not the most mobile guy. He holds onto the ball too long, and he takes a beating. Tore his ACL. So, Pitt is known for their defense. I'm sure Narduzzi is going to scheme some plays. He's going to put pressure on JT, and he's going to make him make plays and keep him on the run all night. So that offensive line is going to be tested with Narduzzi. And we'll see what happens. But JT Daniels, his Achilles heel, he cannot stay healthy for a complete season. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And plus, and like I like this super chat here because, it goes to show you what a dumpster fire of a program Pitt is. They don't have their own stadium. They got to play in a pro stadium. At least we have a 65,000 seat stadium that is on our campus. So, I just think, like I said, before Jordan Addison left, I had Pitt winning this game. But since he left, I don't see Pitt pulling it out. Now, on to the other game. It kicks off an hour later, the Penn State-Purdue game. I have to go with Franklin on that. I think Franklin's a great coach, and I think Penn State will pull that out.
I could see the spoiler makers doing it again. I don't know.
No, they don't do it. They do that in like week 6 or week 7 or something. They're not they don't rush out to like dominate the narrative in week 1. They surprise you when you least. They sneak up on you. They're not like national TV on week 1.
This might be that year, though. This might be that year for them.
I really like Ian O'Connell at Purdue. Like if Penn State's secondary isn't ready, like the Boilermakers can just not run up the score early, just like they did against Michigan State.
This is when we need to have.
Thanks, Purdue. Thanks, Michael, for beating Michigan State. Really appreciate that.
Well, this is when we need to have Michael Hogan here and tell us what's filling on his team. Try to get him in here before Purdue plays.
Yeah.
Did you drop the StreamYard link?
Well,
we'd love to hear his thoughts on it.
If Purdue beats Penn State, does that make Purdue? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that'd be great.
I think
the Big Ten West feels to me like if you put everybody in just a bingo thing and just spew it up, like who's gonna win?
Yeah. I think that would actually churn it more, where everyone's like, who knows at this point.
Well,
right now, I'm going to guarantee that Nebraska's not going to win it. So that's the only thing to guarantee right now.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
Minnesota was my pick, but I can see Purdue
It's not a bad.
Me too. I mean, Purdue, they return a decent amount of people, right? Like from last year, and that bowl game was really fun to watch against two like high octane offenses.
Very, very controversial ending, but we won't delve into that. I don't know.
But if they're like that again, then that was my point. Like if they're like that again with that type of offense, that type of quarterback play, then I could see them giving Penn State all they can handle.
Yeah, I'm interested to see because they do lose David Bell and they also lost Milton Wright to. I think it was I don't know if it was an injury or something off the field.
I think that's well, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
George Karlaftis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. George Karlaftis off the edge. Yeah. I mean, but I just looking at the wide receivers, they have a lot of Purdue. From what I can tell, Purdue is really confident in the guys they have in that room, but they don't have as much proven production for Aiden O'Connell to throw to. So we'll see how that that offense gels and can they run the ball? I don't know.
Hey Ben, drop me out and bring Michael in. Let him talk up Boiler up real quick.
No, I'll drop. Let me drop.
Wait, hold on. We have. Well, Ben, you're muted, but yeah, we have unlimited slots, don't we?
Yeah, we're breaking tendency already immediately, but I think we have a limited spot. But what I'm going to do is I'll drop Chris out real quick, TVM, and then I'm going to bring you right back in. Okay.
We got to hear from the man himself. If we want to know what Purdue, first thing I think of Purdue
football, but this is not a common thing. But we're going to allow this tonight just for the argument's sake. Hold on, TVM. We'll bring you back in here in a minute. Here you go, Hog. Okay. Let's hear it.
First of all, guys, thanks for letting me. Hey guys, how you doing? And Tim, I did get it figured out on Discord. I just got it figured out a minute ago. My thing is this. Purdue, everybody's thinking about that, but you guys are forgetting about Purdue's defense. They got 8 starters coming back from last year's team, and that could be huge, especially stuff like that. The main thing is, are they going to be able to have the numbers and depth and stuff like that? The run game, the run stopper is going to be there. A lot of the guys who were sort of like Corey Trice and stuff who couldn't play last year coming back, the secondary could be there. Overall, I think it's going to be the defense to carry some of the load this year, even though you got O'Connell and the receivers. But my main issue is on offense. Can they run the football? And I think they will be able to. From what I've seen, they've been able to run the ball a lot better and stuff. But like I said, it all depends on what happens Thursday night. Could Purdue lose easily? Will that loss turn them maybe winning the Big Ten? Maybe not. It's still early and stuff, but I'm telling you, with the receivers they got coming, especially with Jones and Tracy coming from Iowa, I did his receivers, Brock Thompson, TJ Sheffield, and you seen who was there last year. They're going to be loaded and stuff like that on the offense.
I like that. I like your comment, only talk sports.
Yeah.
Great.
Not bad. But one thing I'd like to do, though, is this. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if Penn State's doing, how do you see Penn State beating Purdue? Like, if you were Penn State, what would you go after?
Try to make it a one-dimensional game. Right now, it's a running game. As you can tell, the last couple of years, Purdue hasn't really had a running game. They've been relying on the passing game, but stuff like that. But I think the issue is with Penn State, everybody thinks they're going to be good. They can't run the ball either that good. And their offensive line is kind of suspect. If they can get pressure on Clifford early, that's going to help Purdue in the game on Thursday night. And they maybe can force Clifford, because we know Clifford can turn the ball over. And if they can do that, that's going to give Purdue a short field to work with.
Yeah, I feel like that Clifford might not have as much success throwing the ball without Jahan Dotson, because Jahan Dotson was so huge for Penn State, and with them leaving, and if the pass game isn't great and they still can't run the ball, I think Purdue can definitely pull it off.
Well, awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for coming and joining us really quick. Appreciate you, Michael, always.
Great.
What happened to Ben?
No, no,
No, I'm
well,
good.
he's
I'm
playing.
good. It's just kind of lagging out on my end. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of activity.
All right.
Thanks everybody, by the way, for coming on. Everybody who's watching, and don't forget to give a like if you haven't already. This is awesome.
Shall we talk about the main event for Saturday?
There are several really great games on Saturday. Saturday is a loaded day for college football.
Ben, they're going to revoke your Oregon status for saying that.
There's a lot of great games on Saturday.
You mean Colorado State versus Michigan? You mean that one?
It's going to be a great game.
That's a fan.
Bowling Green versus UCLA, the one everyone's waiting for.
One, especially if Colorado State wins.
I mean, one thing I'll say about that, and then I'll shut up, and then we'll get to the actual good games. Is I'm very excited that they are doing the Cade McNamara runs the whole first game, and JJ McCarthy runs the whole second game. It's something that I think I brought up in one of our Patreon exclusive StreamYards at some point, and I think it's a great idea. Lets them both just let the balls fly. Let's see who's actually better. Transparency, and then let's pick somebody already.
Let me ask you.
I'm done.
Let me ask you.
John, that sounds like almost as exciting a game as I don't know if you guys are ready. I hope you all have your DVRs set for UC Davis at UC Berkeley.
Yeah, I mean, look out.
Yeah.
Think big.
Before you jump into
Yes.
Before you jump into Oregon, Georgia, and whatnot, I do want to point out what Mighty Beaver said, because I do think it's true. I think that Oregon State versus Boise State is a very
great game.
maybe like not obvious to everyone else in the country, but that's like a very somewhat under the radar great game to watch.
That is going to be
that will be a good game. That will be a good game. I'm looking forward to Utah.
John Smith came from Boise before UW.
Yep.
One scoop, John.
I'm looking forward.
I can't resist one scoop, John. You'd mentioned something about Ohio State. You would love for them to beat the Irish. You have no love lost. Is that correct?
No, other way around. I want the Irish to win.
Oh, you want the Irish?
I root for Bama to beat Ohio State. I root for Clemson to beat Ohio State.
You root for Sparty to beat Ohio State?
I feel like literally anybody.
Anybody. Okay. Forget it then.
Well, it seems like that Michigan Notre Dame rivalry kind of has gone the way of the dodo then, huh?
No, it'll be coming back. It'll be
coming back. Look out.
Also, this is probably the lesser.
Get your popcorn ready. It's coming back.
Like those are probably both evils, but one is just another sub-depth.
Yeah, we hate Ohio State. Like it's
by the way,
it's a burning hatred.
To answer DeReal's question about a game that I think is incredibly overrated, does anybody think that Cincinnati, Arkansas is going to be quite what people hope it's going to be?
I think the Hogs might run away with it.
I think they're going to run away with it a lot.
Yeah.
This is not last year's Cincinnati team.
Yeah, they love it.
I think one of the good games. I think one of the good games this week is going to be Utah going down the swamp. I'm looking forward to seeing that game. I am too. That's the game I want to watch.
Like I'm really surprised that Josh Pate has decided to go to this Cincinnati game. No offense to Cincinnati. It's just this is not last year.
Arkansas.
Yeah,
Josh is he carries the water for Sam Pittman in Arkansas. This is probably the best opportunity for him to go watch them. So
one game that I think that could be an upset is App State hosting UNC in Boone. Because if UNC doesn't play a bit better than they did, I think they can get ran over by the Mountaineers.
Yeah,
that's the game that terrifies you. And we also have Western Michigan, Michigan State, which has trap game written all over it.
I feel like Mel Tugger will have his guys ready, but you never know, man. You never know. Those directionals can be tricky.
Yeah, directional schools are always tricky.
I got another under-the-radar game that maybe nobody's talking about. And I think it's going to be a beauty contest for San Diego State to audition for the Pac-12 or the Big 12. Let's see who's going to break out the Bucks for San Diego State, opening up their new stadium, 12:30 Pacific Coast time.
On CBS.
CBS opening their new stadium, Snapdragon Stadium, against Arizona, a Pac-12 school that might also be auditioning to leave the Pac-12 for the Big 12. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch that game. And there's a little side drama with their former punter that is in the news for some sexual allegations. So
yeah,
another game during the day to keep your Saturday rolling.
Is Matt
So we
Barkley
got to talk about the Pac-12 after dark
Yeah,
game.
you know,
The school that really wants to be the Pac-12 in Boise against the Beavers at Oregon State.
That's gonna be a good game. I think the Beavers pull it out because I think they're a really strong team this year. But I think it's gonna be a good game.
and then we have Sea Dog versus Jordan too, because Georgia Tech's taking on Clemson.
Oh, on Monday? Oh, yeah, no, we don't have to talk about that game. I have no interest in talking about that game. I'm gonna be honest, because honestly, the way I see it, I feel like that no matter what happens in that game, people are going to overreact. If Clemson runs all over Georgia Tech, they're going to be like, well, it's Georgia Tech, and so I'm not going to. Which is kind of fair, so I'm not going to take anything away from it. But if Clemson struggles, because that's the only game Monday night that's really worth. Well, I don't even know if it's worth watching, but it's the only game. It's the big marquee, Chick-fil-A, whatever game.
We get to see the worst of Power 5 college coaching on all. The whole world gets to see that college coaching with Scott Frost and now Jeff Collins. We're gonna have to see the ineptitude of the worst Power 5 coaches.
Week one is showcasing the hot seats.
Yes, yeah, man, Jeff Collins. Do
you think he can pour kerosene on his seat like Scott Frost did?
Well, probably not by losing to Clemson, but probably losing some other games. Yeah. I don't have much confidence in that coaching staff, so we'll see.
Sea-Dog reacting to Georgia Tech losing to Northern Illinois, like that was one of the funniest reactions I've seen.
Oh, did he make a video of that?
Yeah, and it was good.
Oh, I may have to watch that.
He lost his mind.
Kind of like, if you look back through some old Uncle Lou videos, there were some times when Georgia was not on top.
Yeah.
Power backer, I think you're right. I think Sam Pittman's gonna stomp Cincinnati. And then I'll be okay with not hearing from their fans on Twitter for a little while. What about I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just commenting on the Cincinnati fan. Yeah, they're pretty intense. I don't know. You probably wouldn't expect it if you weren't that tuned in to Twitter, but yeah, their fan base is pretty
loud.
Loud. Yeah,
small,
that's
but loud.
Yeah.
What's everybody's thoughts on Georgia, Oregon? I don't think we've brought that up.
Well,
we kind of tiptoed around it.
Oregon went to the 2 last year and pulled off an upset. Do they have 2 of them back-to-back years? As much as I'd like to see it, I just can't. I can't go with Oregon on this game. I have to go with Georgia. But I don't put it past Oregon to come in because they don't face each other much. So you never know. Georgia might underestimate them a little bit.
It's tough to know what's going on with Oregon. I am one of like a very, very few people who believes in Bo Nix. So and Bo Nix is not afraid of Georgia. So it would not surprise me if Oregon finds a way to make it happen. I'm going to be cheering for the Ducks, but I would be probably betting on the Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, look, okay, as a Duck guy, I'm the realistic one. We're going to keep it close. Can we pull it out? Another shocker, so to say. It's possible, but I'm going to be realistic. But we're not going to get blown out, even though it's a home game for Georgia. Don't give me a neutral site. Don't give me that shit. It's not a neutral site. Don't give me it.
What's getting blown
out? Saving grace.
Oh, there's
Zach.
Zach.
Not going to have the same defense.
17.5 is a really good number. The 17.5 is that's where I kind of see it, Ben. I hate to say it. Somewhere in that range, give or take. I think that's a really good line. Only because, and my only reason for it is it's just because, if you had Mario, you guys hadn't missed a beat, it would be a different story. I'm just saying they're covering right off. They're a well-oiled machine coming off the national championship. Like you said, at home, and there's continuity. You guys are you like. I know I've talked to you personally. You like the way that Lanning's taken this team, but at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to get it up and running. Get all your new system on offense and defense in place, new quarterback, everything's new. There's gonna be a growing pain on the road. I got to tell you, that's gonna be tough. The good news you have is Nix is not gonna be shell shocked. That's one good thing because he has been in that environment before, so that's something going for you guys. But that number, why I say it, is just simply because of the newness of what's going on in the program.
All right, Tim. So that's also the line for Notre Dame and Ohio State is also 17.5. What do you think is? Who do you think has the better chance of covering between us and the Ducks?
Notre Dame. Yeah, because I like your front seven. I'm sorry, I can barely talk right now, but I like your front seven, and you guys have that thing. I'm sure you know what I mean. Will, every 2 to 3 years, Brian Kelly would have the perfect storm. He'd have this great offensive line, a great front seven, and you guys would just steamroll teams. USC 2017 found that out the hard way, big time. So I see this 2022 team being exactly the same way. And I keep battling with Ben. Shoelace, thank you so much for $4.99 super chat. Thank you guys for doing this. Yeah, it's finally football time.
It is.
Yeah,
how great is that?
Right.
You guys, how fun was it to watch the games yesterday and be like, they're really happening?
Bambi, Hawaii, let's go.
Unless you're from Hawaii or Nebraska, it was a beautiful day.
Right.
I stayed in this room, my office area, the whole day in blackout curtains, and then I realized, oh shit, it's like 7 p.m. Watching football, it was amazing.
Yeah, but who else got that feeling? Now we got to kind of be honest too. Who also got that feeling kind of towards the middle of some of the later games where you start going to yourself? Because I really, guys, after that Nebraska game, which was a good game back and forth, we had some snoozers, right? So think of it this way. How many of those games would you watch during the regular season? I know we're 6, so we're going to watch some of them, but the average fan's not going to watch any of those things. There were some pretty big clunkers out there. At the end.
You wouldn't normally watch Florida State Duquesne?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
North Carolina versus, who did they play again? Oh, wait.
Or Charlotte versus Florida Atlantic.
I think the week 0, the way they've marketed week 0 is so amazing. The fact that it was week 0, and they shove all that weird content towards the front. So people are so hungry for football that they're going to jump all over it. So I mean, I guess it's good marketing on their part.
I mean, we would not have normally watched Nebraska versus Northwestern anyway.
I think the sport is so awesome that they do that, though. Let's just throw 2 random Big Ten teams that nobody would watch normally, and it was literally in Dublin for the first main game.
And then they were like, "Who is dumb enough to have 30,000 fans fly 10 hours? It's got to be a Nebraska game."
Right.
There's only one team this could be.
Well, I guess Tim, for you, the whole point is I'm a football whore. I will watch every game possible. And yesterday was like a tune-up, a warm-up to go how to record and watch as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I exclude Ben, we're not normal. I get you. We're not normal people, but I'm with you on that.
And by the way, for those of you guys watching on Thursday, should you need some extra love during those games, Tim and I have been suckered into Mark into helping co-host his live stream from 8 to 11. So while you're watching those games, at commercial breaks, halftime, whatever, come join us, and we'll be talking about the weekend ahead.
Guys, I think we're being a little bit disrespectful. We have not brought up the number 1 team in the nation, Alabama. They're playing Utah State, 4:30 Eastern Time on SEC Network.
And actually, somebody pointing out that Utah State UConn game, UConn looked good.
Hold on. Nick Saban's going to bring out a can of whoop ass. He's putting a 70 burger on Utah State. He's making it from day one. I'm telling you.
I'm making a
Did I not the other night?
Roll Tide.
Jim Mora would have a positive effect on UConn immediately, and they were competitive. Now
they're playing without their quarterback too.
But I'm sorry, Utah State, you're about to get obliterated.
You're gonna get waxed.
Let's not get carried away. They had UConn had a 14-0 lead and then scored 6 points in the rest of the game.
They had no quarterback, and I do love. TVM. I do love Mora. I think Mora is a good coach.
Yeah, Taquan Roberson. It appears he has a torn ACL from what I saw on Twitter. So that's unfortunate for UConn.
That sucks.
He's got Jimbo on his mind from day one. He's gonna roll 70 burger. Book it.
Yeah, bold prediction would be that Alabama's going into the game number 1 and they'll come out of the game number 1. So that's the boldest prediction I'll make this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, my son has a high school football game that they decided to schedule that Thursday night. So I'll be watching him and on my phone like this the whole time. So.
So there's a lot of people in chat that are saying they want everybody to put their links in to their channels and stuff.
One of the great things about this is that if any of you guys here in the chat, the panel here, if you got Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, go ahead and drop your links. Put your name, drop it. I mean, this is a promotion platform where we're able to do that. Mark has given us the freedom for that. We highly appreciate that. I keep dropping the Patreon. So like for everyone in the chat right now who's watching, if you guys want to get on with us one night here and chat live about the upcoming week, recap the previous week, go to search MarkRogersTV at Patreon. I'll drop the link again here in literally just 2 seconds. Join him on Patreon. You get the Discord. You get to chat with us 24/7, 365 days a year about college football. And we do after parties. So after this stream ends, we're going to keep going. We're not stopping. Yeah. We keep chatting and bullshitting with each other for hours. I mean, like late night.
If you guys like this, we literally do this almost every night.
Yeah, we do.
On the Patreon.
I'm going to drop this link one more time. Let's do it again. And then, any of you guys, if you have some promotions, feel free to drop in the chat. I need all the help myself, self-promotion from my channel.
One thing that I'll promote. Now, so I know some of you may not know me. I'm Joey Foster. I'm the executive producer of Golden Blue Dude. And I help several channels, including Mark Rogers here on the Voice of College Football. But I do have a new show coming up, and I'd love for everybody to sub it up. It's brand new. It's called Mountaineer Legends Pregame Show. So you can just search for that on YouTube, Mountaineer Legends Pregame Show. And it's going to start Thursday. And it's going to be from Pitt. And so it's just all the Mountaineer legends getting together, talking and having fun. We have former players. We have Daryl Talley. We have Major Harris. We have Stedman Bailey. We'll eventually have Tavon Alston. We're going to be at a different location every week around the country. So if you'll sub that up for me, I'd appreciate it. But we will be live streaming this Thursday from that channel. If you're a Mountaineer fan, if you're not a Mountaineer fan, if you're a Pitt fan, listen in because we do have a couple of Pitt guests coming on there too. So former players.
So it's called the Mountaineer Legends Pregame Show, right?
Right, Mountaineer Legends Pregame Show. And so if you'll sub that up for me, it's a brand new channel. I just started it about 3 days ago, so I would appreciate it.
Done.
Yeah, I can't put my link in the chat. I'm not a mod, but
I can do it D4.
Okay, yeah, I'm D4 Sports. I do a lot of top 10 videos, do season predictions, game previews, stuff like that. All these guys have been on my channel. Greatly appreciate that. Joey also helps me severely with getting to learn YouTube. I'm a newer channel and just trying to grow. So if you guys would like to sub up and check out what we got coming up, greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate the Mark for giving us the platform to be able to grow our channels along with providing you guys with content. 179 of you in here right now. We greatly appreciate everything that we're able to bring to you guys and get to do in front of you guys. So
we've got traveling fools in the house too.
Yo,
TF.
Traveling fools.
What's neat about this new show? Let me tell you, I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second because it's pretty cool. Well, what's neat about this new show, is this Thursday, I get to be there with all these Mountaineer legends. I mean, we're talking Adam Pac-Man Jones is going to be there. Mike Logan will be there. Not Tavon Austin won't be, but Stephen Bailey will be there.
Wow.
You know, we've got some Major Harris will be there. So we have some great Mountaineer legends. Jeff Hostetler may possibly be there as well. Daryl Talley will be there. Also, Dale the Wolfman Wolfley will be there. Brian Josviak, they're both hosts of the show. Brian Josviak was a 6th-round draft pick in 1986, 87. So you know we've got some really good, great cast this Thursday. It's a show you won't want to miss. I promise you. Mountaineer Legends pregame show. So check that out. Sub it up. But after that game, I mean during that game, we're going to go tailgating. So me and the football players, we're going to go out tailgating. And when we come back to the bar where we're shooting the show at, we're going to all sit there and watch the game together and drink some beers. So it's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to that.
So Shule Sooner, thank you again for $4.99 super chat. Can we get a season record prediction for each of your favorite teams? Would it be fun to look back at the end of the season to see who got it right? I'll go first. I've been pretty consistent, 8-4 with USC. Yeah, I will say, if everything breaks right, no pun intended, there's no major injuries on both lines, I can see USC going 9-3. Maybe, possibly, the ball bounces right way, 10-2. But because this is football and because you're going to lose a couple of linemen throughout the year, USC's razor thin on both lines. We got skilled positions for days, but we just don't have a lot of depth on the line. So I'm still sticking with that 8-4 record I have for USC. What do you guys think?
I'm looking optimistic, Tim. I'm going 9-3 for the boys. They might not get it, but we'll see.
LBC, you're the other Trojan.
I'll chime in to round out the Trojan triumvirate. 8-4. We're going to go 8-4. Just chiming with what Tim said. We're thin on defense. Historically, even when Pete Carroll had his great teams, we would always drop one that you wouldn't expect. And so that's going to happen. Injuries are part of the game. Our offense is going to score a lot of points, but the defense and the Pac-12 refs, it's football, you know. So 8-4. If we have some good fortune, I can see 9-3.
I think Texas goes 7-5, 8-4. Don't have really high expectation this year. I think it's the year before the year. I think we're young and still trying to change the culture there. So I'll go 7-5, 8-4.
I like that. All of you have good answers. I like USC. You know, you guys are being reasonable right now. Good expectations, because I'm saying Oregon, new coach, new staff, everything. Like you guys, I think 9-3, 10-2 optimistically, but I wouldn't be surprised by 8-4 also. You know, let's not get over our heads here. I mean, we start with Georgia and BYU. That's no jokes. Then we know we're going to drop something somewhere. So I'm with you guys. I think same for Oregon, 9-3.
Thanks, Minnesota, for the super chat.
Yes.
I also have you here. And for my team, Notre Dame, my heart says 11-1, 12-0. But right now, I'm just gonna go with my head, and I'm gonna say 10-2. But I really want us to win one of the big games this year. But I think with the Lions that we have, I think for sure we win 10 games.
So for UCLA, real quick, because one Scoop John's Wolverines got scared and canceled their game against us. We have a incredibly easy
True story.
So
I was very upset about that. I wish we would play you.
Yeah, it's I mean, talk to Jim or whoever made that decision. I don't know, but yeah, on schedule alone, anything worse than 9-3 is a disappointment, and that doesn't even mean that we're necessarily good. It's just that our schedule is that easy. We could be like easily 5-0 going into playing Utah at home in October and still not know whether we're good or not, because we've played, Bowling Green, Alabama State, South Alabama, Colorado, and Washington. So yeah, anything worse than 9-3 is sort of a disappointment. But I also think that's about where we land is 9-3.
Well, since I was mentioned,
Good point.
Go ahead.
After your prediction, John, after your prediction, you can answer Dave here. What you think? Who's gonna win the Big Ten West? You're the Big Ten guy, so
well,
this makes sense for you.
I'm pretty high on Purdue.
You're not jumping around
to pull it out.
Badger.
But well, that was cool. That was pretty cool when we did that. So I'm gonna predict for Michigan 11-1. I was just on with Mark, and so I'm sticking to that. 11-1, 3-point loss in Columbus, and we're gonna be on the bubble between either the number 4 spot in the playoff or the Rose Bowl. That's what I think. Go Blue. Done.
Once you, John, I would hope so. Michigan has 8 games at home, starting off 4 games at home. I mean, who has that
joke? It's a joke. I know.
It's a joke. What I love is you literally declared the first 2 to be scrimmages.
Yep.
Only
literally quarterback scrimmages.
Yep.
Ohio State plays 5 games at home to start the season, a total of 8. How do you guys work that schedule? It's ridiculous. I can't wait to join the Big Ten.
I mean, we're playing Rice. We can't say too much. We're playing Rice.
Well,
so I'll go give a prediction for West Virginia.
Don't lose the food.
Don't lose the food. But Dave, I'm giving it to the Badgers. I'm jumping around over here.
I can't jump around with their quarterback, Graham Mertz. I just can't jump around with him.
You can't jump around with Graham
Mertz? He was laughably bad when we played Wisconsin.
He's drinking
I can't jump around. I'm sorry.
So West Virginia this year, Vegas has us at 5.5, which hasn't happened since the early 2000s.
You guys are so mad about that too. It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stupid. 5.5. We haven't been 5.5 since Neil Brown got there. I don't know where they got that number from, but I think West Virginia is going to have a really good team this year. It's going to surprise some teams. Also, you got to remember, Baylor has never won in Morgantown. Baylor travels to Morgantown this year. Oklahoma also has to come to Morgantown. So that's 2 of our really tough games are at home. And so I have West Virginia on the floor, on the ground level would be 7-5. At the top would be 9-3 in my opinion. But I've been saying 8-4 all off season, and I think that's where we're going to end up, 8-4. I think we'll end up probably 4th in the Big 12 at 8-4, and that's where I think we'll end up.
Is that everybody?
No, I haven't gone yet. So, all right, yeah, Clemson. I'm feeling. I've kind of gone back and forth on this, but Clemson's Vegas win total is 10.5, and so I think that's like perfect. It's gonna. I think it's gonna be 10-2 or 11-1. It really just comes down to how well the offense gels. I feel really strongly about Clemson's defense being one of the best in the country. The defensive line is probably the best. I think it's better than the defensive line they had in 2018. I don't say that lightly. That is a very bold statement, but I think from a depth perspective, I think this is the best Clemson has had on the defensive line since Dabo Swinney has been the head coach. But yeah, it's just the offense. I think Clemson is going to be very strong running the ball. I think the offensive line has made some really strong steps. I think they're a lot better. They're healthier than they were last year. It really just comes down to the passing game. Does DJ improve, or is Cade Klubnik going to have to take over at some point, and do the wide receivers stay healthy? I think those are my biggest questions for Clemson. But I feel 10-2 right now, just because I need to see it to believe it. But 11-1 or 12-0 is certainly on the table. I think Clemson's favored in every game on their schedule currently. That might look a little bit different down the road, but I think Clemson can win every single game. It's that you look at the key games. That NC State game looms large for the division and potentially the conference title, and then you've also got Notre Dame. You have to travel to Notre Dame in the non-conference. So, but I think if you I think if you only drop one of those, I think Clemson is, right back in the ACC championship and in the playoff discussion. But I'm gonna say 10-2 for now. But I think 11-1, 12-0 is certainly on the card, on the table.
Yeah, Jordan, your defense is going to carry you guys a lot next year.
Jordan, will you show up at all on the StreamYards if you lose to NC State? Like, could you bear that cross?
Will I show up? Yeah, of course. I'm not one of those that disappear. It'll suck. I don't like losing I've told people, the team I hate the most losing to obviously is South Carolina, but within the ACC, yeah, especially the last 10 or so years, losing to NC State is not that's not something we do. So,
thank you, Shoelace Sooner, by the way.
Yeah,
Boomer Sooner, thank you, Shoelace. Boomer Sooner, thank you for that.
NC State's playing East Carolina this weekend, so we're going to find out how good NC State is, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jordan, your defense is going to carry you guys, and I think that Bo Collins emerged last year, at the end of last year as a receiver. Yes, I know I got my St. John Bosco glass on, but I really expect special things for him. And you told me about DJ, that his injuries, and the issues on the O line. I think you guys are going to snap back, and I do see you guys going 10-2, 11-1 for sure. Yeah. But yeah, Shoelace Sooner, thank you for your 1999 super chat. That's why I love this channel. Very reasonable predictions. Thank you, everyone. Well, thank you, Shoelace Sooner, for all of your donations. I really hope
thank you, Shoelace.
You let me know, because if you want, I will gift you a Patreon, if you want, because I really think that if you're enjoying this, you'd really enjoy our chats. Because again, what you're seeing, guys, everybody out there, like John said, this is what we do all day, every day.
Well, not all day.
Well, some of us, Tony.
We have jobs too, but yeah, at night.
Hold on, you guys in your jobs. I'm guilty as well. At lunchtime, I'm looking in the Discord, and I see people posting in the Discord all day long. So don't go there. Yeah, the video chats are at night, but the posts inside, sort of well within the work hours. I'm seeing posts in that Discord. So make sure your IT department isn't checking or blocking the channel. But thanks again, Shoelace. If you are, DM me.
He said he's on Patreon.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, how come you're not joining us in the chats? You gotta get more active, man.
Boomer Sooner.
Everyone else, I'm going to drop the link again here for the Patreon. So if you guys want to get involved here, they're watching. It means the world to Mark. Helps Mark out and join in with us. The more the better. That's how we look at it. Just keep this.
And it's going to be a season. How excited are you guys to not have to hear any more predictions? Because the real season's happening.
Yeah, finally, yeah. Hot take season is over,
and
we need it.
And we appreciate super chats, but let's not make anything political. We're trying. Yeah. This is where all communities get together and we wrap around football. Yeah. We're not going to get in debates or make comments about either side of our political system. So
yeah, because
although I will say Desmond is so his take was Texas A&M is going to beat Michigan in the national title game. So I don't think that my take was anywhere near as delusional as that. I don't know what he was on in that prediction. I don't know.
He needs to share if he's going to take that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Going back to that, John.
Give me his plugs number.
Super chat, but yeah, we're not going to go into the whole political realm.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys. One of the wonderful things about football, I think, is that it brings everybody together.
Yes.
And that's one of the cool things is you love your team. You have rivals. I have people. There's some wonderful people that I talk to on on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this guy's so cool. And then they post something about a political view, and I'm like, oh my God, you're a horrid person. And it's better that we don't have those discussions because actually all fan bases are kind of great, and I think that we can avoid that in keeping the channel and stuff focused on football stuff. It makes it a lot better for everybody.
Yeah, and this is the United States, and I'm really glad you have an opinion about things, and more power to you. But let's keep it about football.
I'm also really glad some of you don't vote for my states, but that's another thing.
We have enough rivalry and shit talking amongst each other. We don't need to involve that other realm.
Yeah. We do. Remember, the real enemy. The real enemy.
And one thing I've noticed, the one thing I really love. The one thing I love about Mark's channels, all of them, is it's just you get these strange group of people collected together. Like, again, some of my I said in the chat earlier, some of my best friends on here are Ducks, are Bruins, are Irish, right? I mean, I don't really have much against the Wolverines or the Mountaineers. Well, then see, you got D4
thanks, Tim.
Texas. Well, no, I'm saying there's no real rivalry. You know what I mean? I love Michigan.
I'll give you guys an example. I don't give a hoot about anything in the state of Kentucky at all. But when Mark Stoops had to start defending Kentucky, thanks to DeReal MVP, our number one Kentucky fan, I was like, go Stoops, bring it on, Kentucky. I was having some love for Kentucky, and it's all from DeReal MVP because I don't give a hoot what happens in Kentucky. So DeReal is literally forcibly somehow maybe subliminally while I was asleep and left YouTube on somehow made me show some love for Kentucky. So I think that's one of the cool things about the community.
Shout out to the DeReal MVP.
Shout out to DeReal. Yeah, your coach sticking up for it. I loved it.
Oh, sorry.
We got another one from Dave.
Yeah.
Minnesota Dave.
Is Northwestern back to doing typical Northwestern that we know of, being good one year and being next? Or is Nebraska really horribly? Dude, Dave, I've been wondering this since yesterday.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
It could be yes.
Northwestern's not back. Nebraska's just horrible. Nebraska should have beat Northwestern. They had them beat, and they just fell apart. Bottom line. So I just don't think neither one of them teams were great. In my opinion, neither one of them were great. So, but hey, Northwestern beat Nebraska.
But they also, you guys, it's not outside the realm of possibility that we actually saw two good teams yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Northwestern's 6-6 and Nebraska's 5-7.
Well, here's where I'll leave it. At the end of the game, towards the end of the game, it just looked like that Northwestern offensive line was taken over. And there was a play where I didn't have the sound. I was watching a couple different games. I didn't have the sound on for it. And that play where it looks like when the ref blows the whistle and everyone stops running, right? That one touchdown looks like it looked like a referee had blown the whistle because the defense didn't move at all. And that guy just walked right into the end zone. So I'm with Joey. I think that defense is really suspect.
We'll see.
It is hard to tell. I agree.
You guys know what the best part is? We're going to see again in 6 days.
Yeah, we don't know if we saw two good teams or two really bad teams. That's the hardest thing because you watch both of these teams go on an 8 or 9 win run, and you're like, oh, that really was a good game. It was a good game either way, but we might have been seeing something special, and you just don't know. But Nebraska.
Well, we might have seen two teams battling to see who's going to make the Emerald Nut Bowl.
Yeah, thanks Shoelace Sooner and Dave for the donations. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, Dave, you're a killer out here right now.
And Dave, you're from Minnesota? Is Dave from Minnesota? Somebody said.
Yeah.
Go first.
Season.
You guys should be decent this season.
I have you guys winning the West. I think you guys got it.
We're getting a lot of NC State love from Will C. Shout out to him. Shout out to all the NC State fans. I'm excited for that.
This could be their year.
Could be. I'm really interested because it's we've said that a lot of times under Dave Doran, and that I think
I really like your take here. Ohio State will lose to ND week 1 and then run the table. I like that take.
I don't like that one very much. But
we'll read that in Convenient Theories for You magazine.
But yeah, no, I think I do think this is Dave Doran's best team. I think they're good on both lines. They have phenomenal quarterback play. It's going to be really interesting to see how they run the ball this year because that was something they didn't do very well last year, and they lose their top 2 backs. So that that's something to watch. But yeah, this is Dave Doran's best team. I think if they don't do it this year, it's kind of like, well, when are you going to do it? Because it's not often that you beat Clemson and then you don't win the division. So I think this is the year if they're going to do it. They need to take advantage of it. Going to win in Death Valley is never easy. But I think they have the team to do it. And if Clemson is still struggling, have a lot of the issues that they did last year, that easily could be another NC State dub. So, but I'm really excited for that game. I already have tickets. I'm gonna be there live. Maybe I even do something on this channel. Maybe some kind of live like post game. That'd be really cool. But yeah, that's gonna be a great game. I'm excited for it.
Only Talk Sports just dunked on Purdue.
I'd like to give a shout out to Josh Cohen in the chat. He gave us a fight on and go Trojans. Josh, you're going to have to check out the USC postgame show starting with Rice shortly after the end of the USC game. You're going to find Tim Prangley, TJ Altawar, and myself after every USC game, giving you some colorful feedback, inviting comments, viewers. It's going to be a great show. So check us out, Josh. Glad that you're here today.
LBC, what for those so we can all mark it in our schedule. What time is the post game?
About 9 p.m.
The game starts at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. So you're looking probably around 9:30 Eastern time.
And now that I have my unscheduled visitor, it looks like I will not be at the game, so I'll be in studio.
In studio, we will not have our live feed directly from the Coliseum.
Yeah, unexpected visitor this week, so I'm not going to make the game. But yeah.
LBC, you want the seats?
I will be on a.
You're at a soccer tournament.
But I will be there live remotely from beautiful Oceanside.
Nice.
Yeah. I will be
there.
We'll be at both Tim and I have season seats, so we'll be bringing you colorful commentary from after the game at selected games from the Coliseum.
And I will be holding down the fort from USC headquarters here in South Florida.
Very original.
And possibly back in New York later on in the season. So who knows? We'll be able to say back to the studio in New York. Also known as my apartment.
Oh,
Dave, yes, I am. Some people are picking us to finish winning. Really depends on Tracy Morgan.
Thanks, Dave.
It does.
Dave is killing it tonight.
Dave is killing it. Dave, go Gophers. Go Minnesota.
Row the
He's
boat.
still quarterback. That's crazy. Tanner Morgan.
By the way, Dave, I don't know if you ever saw the comic I did of all the Big Ten presidential candidates, but Minnesota has like my favorite bunch of like the Big Ten. By the way, guys, I don't think it's Woodrow Wilson from affiliate member Johns Hopkins is the only Big Ten candidate ever actually elected president, and that's even a little like not good, not to be political. But the Big Ten has a really funny collection of bad presidential candidates, and a lot of them came from Minnesota. It's like actually kind of funny. There's a great one of the Gopher, a great comic of the Gopher with all the bad Minnesota presidential candidates.
Who did Reagan beat in that landslide?
Mondale.
Was he?
Mondale.
Was he from Minnesota?
He was he Wisconsin or Minnesota? I'm trying to remember.
I think he might have been Minnesota.
Oh, he was Minnesota. Yeah, he was Minnesota.
Okay, yeah, I was.
and also Harold, and also Stassen, and was it Humphrey and maybe McGovern too? I'm trying to remember. I remember where McGovern was from.
Personal foul, talking politics.
I was going to say,
no. This is we're talking electoral losing.
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what their politics was. It's about the degree of the L.
Yeah, it's
because let me tell you, Indiana had Mike Pence, Dan Quayle, and Wendell Willkie. So like no better. Other side of the spectrum, but no better.
Yeah.
So Dave's super chat reminded me of something. It's like every year there's that guy you're going through rosters, right, or depth charts. You go, that dude's still playing. Did any of you guys this year come across that guy where like you were amazed that they're like a 6-year senior, super senior yet this year?
You mean when they have grandkids in the stands?
Yeah.
Every year I hear something I'm like, wait, dude, he's still playing?
Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez.
Yes, that's a perfect example right there.
Adrian Martinez versus DTR.
At UCLA.
They're gonna play against each other in the AARP Bowl.
Yeah. It literally does.
DTR
It feels like they have been there for literally Martinez, especially because they had Martinez and now the other Martinez. So it feels like he's been there since Pelini. I think that's what makes Martinez seem like it's been forever. It's two different ones, but it's But TBR, yeah, same thing. It feels like he's been there forever for some reason. I don't know why that is.
DeReal brought a good one. Sean Clifford at Penn State.
Also been there forever.
Uncle Rico said the same thing. Yeah.
Drew Allar's supposed to be good. We'll see if he gets some playing time this year.
Yeah.
It feels like he's been here for forever because this is going to be literally his 5th year starting.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Oh, Erica, are you a Iowa fan?
Oh, she's huge Iowa fan.
Yeah, Erica's always
he?
Iowa.
He's always at the always at the show. Big supporter.
Nice.
I'm going to.
By the way, speaking of Iowa, can we give a shout out to Corey Brada for just being like the best at the post game shows?
He's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
He's really good.
I can't tell you how many times I watch Corey Brada and I'm like just fascinated. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't give a hoot what happened to the Iowa game. But I'll be like, oh really? Tell us more, Corey. Okay, and I'll sit there and listen to like a 3-hour live stream afterwards.
What's going on with the wide receivers, Corey? Tell me. I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know their names, but somehow when Corey says it, it sounds way more interesting.
Yeah.
I want to just say I'm going to go ahead and pop out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody in the chat for being here. Appreciate all your questions. Thank you to all you guys too. I will one more time point out everybody needs to join the Patreon page. Join us in Discord because we really do have a good time, and we do this all the time. We do this literally every night. When we say that, we really mean it. Somebody creates a StreamYard. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 going and don't even realize it. So you can pick a stream that you want to come into. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Everyone have a great night. Okay.
Joey, good to see you.
Bye, Joey.
Love Joey.
Yeah, MSU Detroit fan. You got to realize that USC plays at Utah, at Colorado, at Washington. At Washington, yeah, the Palouse. So we're no stranger to cold, snowy, sleet, rainy, foggy weather, man. We've gone up against some serious weird weather. And also remember this: if you look at USC's roster right now, we've got kids from all over the country. So I don't really see weather being that much of a difference, especially the fact that, let's just say, I'm hoping the last game of the season probably will be USC versus UCLA. So that means at worst we're playing in the Midwest at maybe the second week of November. And while it's going to be cold, it's not like it's January or early February. It's still the weather's not that bad all the time. There will be those weird games, but remember, both teams have to play in that stuff. And I don't care if you're from Michigan, you still have to run. You're still going to slip on the snow. You're still going to slip around. So it's not like I don't think it's as big as an advantage as people think it is.
And the other thing is those Big Ten teams are going to really like the idea of an LA trip in November.
Hey, Tim, great point. And here's another thing. How about these Big Ten teams coming out to LA for a Labor Day kickoff game? It's going to be 95 at the Coliseum at 3 o'clock going against Rice. It's going to be a nice game, baby. And here's another thing. USC's played in weather. I mean, we play in Tempe in September when it's 103 degrees. So we play in all types of weather: rain, snow, sleet, hail, 100-degree heat. Not a problem.
And I think there is don't get me wrong, I think there is an innate advantage, right? If you're practicing all day, every day. But don't most of these, like, Will, you guys have an inside practice facility, right? So it's not like you guys are playing out in the snow. So when you're practicing, you guys are practicing inside, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the huge advantage, there's got to be some innate advantage, but I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's that big. Plus,
that's a national narrative. It's a joke. Doesn't make sense.
Fair's brought up that the Big Ten typically struggles playing out west. And again, what's going to be more of a distraction? Kids being in Southern California, it's all usually a pretty tight schedule, so they don't have time to go out drinking on a Friday night. But it's like there's still going to be distractions flying out to LA, I think, as well.
And you know what? I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the Big Ten fans above all else. Like, it's going to be a cool place to go. I mean, the Coliseum, the Coliseum is just an amazing place to see a game.
I can't wait. I'm
Rose
going.
Bowl's awesome. It's
100%.
I'll tell you, so John, I was thinking about this. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but USC Michigan should be the opening Big Ten game.
Yes.
In the Coliseum.
Let's do it. Let's go.
I honestly think like the Michigan band, Hail the Victors, the M Club supports,
I hope we play every year. I hope USC Michigan is every year. It would be epic.
It'd be awesome. And I think that should be the kickoff of the big. They should do a game 1 weekend. Kevin Warren comes out, and it's like the Coliseum in the afternoon and the Rose Bowl at night, or something like that. 2 games.
I think it's going to be USC Michigan or USC Ohio State. But it's definitely going to be like a big time matchup for sure.
Yeah, and like UCLA Wisconsin or something, like on the same day to like do the official like start launch of the Big Ten out west. It'll be cool.
We'll only talk sports. I'm not sure what your reasoning behind this is. USC has a really good record against most of the schools in the Big Ten. I don't really know.
They kind of tend to ask Michigan.
You can go through every decade.
I say that coming from Michigan.
Yeah, but because maybe we will. I'm not saying we aren't, but I see a lot of these comments with nothing to back them up. And his history tells us that USC does well. Again, the counter to that is most of those games were played out west, right, in the Rose Bowls. But I will counter the fact that yes, it was in the Rose Bowl, right? But we were playing the best team of the Big Ten all those times.
We tended to stomp them.
You have the 2 LA schools.
It's a slight advantage. To have the game in the Rose Bowl, which isn't our stadium. It's in the same city, but it's not our stadium. But we're playing the best team that year in your conference, and we have a winning record against them. So I don't know where you're thinking that we're going to struggle that hard. We might, but history's on your side.
The 2 LA schools are like definitely in 2 of their largest down periods, like of like the history of their schools in a very long time. Like I think that the last 4 years under Chip, before he went 8-4 last year, were like literally supposed to be, I think, literally the worst like 3 seasons of a UCLA head coach ever, going by combined record. So, I mean, those things don't tend to stay forever.
No, UCLA be back. And UCLA, you guys, and the other thing with UCLA, when UCLA comes in and they have they have the blue and their band and their chill and the little bear doll with a bow in her hair. You know, like it's very LA, and I think it's gonna be actually pretty cool in the Big Ten.
It's gonna be interesting to see because they only talk sports, make it a point. We're projecting anyone against any team, and like he says, playing all these teams all of the time will make it harder for them because you're going to end up dropping a little bit more consistently, randomly here and there. But he makes a good point. So it's going to be interesting to see how USC really does fare in the Big Ten, that schedule, especially who they get every year on the rotation.
It'll be really interesting. The MSU Detroit fan, you're saying that actually one of the funny. So my dad played USC. I think they split 1-1, and they actually did the same thing. They played UCLA, beat UCLA in the regular season, and then lost to them in the Rose Bowl the year they won the national championship. The Michigan State one. So like,
because
you got great traditions.
So hey, USC's all-time record against Big Ten, they played 100 games, 69, 29-2 overall, 23-10 playing away at Big Ten schools. So I mean, that's their history.
And I put this one up for MSU Detroit fan. You guys had this guy, I'm not sure you heard, his name was Andre Rison, and he lit up USC in that game.
We played him. He played against my dad's team in high school. Our high school played against him. It was good.
That's my bad.
Michigan State didn't do too well against Notre Dame and Tim Brown that year. Tim Brown ran off 2 kickoff returns to the house in South Bend against MSU.
So I'll tell you something really funny. So, like I said, my dad played for Michigan State, and I grew up, like from the time I was little, I had this big Michigan State Rose Bowl poster in my bedroom, like over my desk. And I finally, when I was a senior in high school, I was like, my dad gave me, I had all this like Michigan State stuff in my room, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get rid of this. And so I was like taking it off, and I lifted the Rose Bowl picture off the wall when for the first time I realized I actually had a USC Rose Bowl poster in my room since I was like a little tiny kid. I was like, oh, vision.
Well, all right, guys. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we have been on for like 2 hours, which has been phenomenal. It has been phenomenal.
What?
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. I'm really
fun, guys. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for organizing.
I'm actually surprised by the turnout, and the audience has been great. All the super chats, the conversation, the discussion has been great. So if we want, thank everyone for tuning in. This is the first. We're trying to do this weekly, if not even more than once weekly, if possible, depending on what happens. But at least every Sunday night, we're trying to go live. around 10:30 Eastern time here on the live channel for Mark. And so we appreciate you guys and we appreciate Mark. So if you love this show, you like Mark, hit that subscribe button, support Mark, check out his team channels like the USC channel, the Michigan channel, the Notre Dame channel, the Clemson, Texas, and Oregon channel. Sorry, UCLA, I don't think you have a channel.
We don't. That's okay. We're gonna sneak up on everyone just like we are this year.
So for UCLA, just follow USC channel. I mean, it's okay.
Disgusting.
Guys, so much for all of this. And if you want, everyone, I would like to go around the room for some final words, your prediction of the season, what you're expecting, what you're hoping for. And if you have a social media or a YouTube channel, promote it. By all means, drop it in the chat, anything like that. And we're going to wrap this up, though. So let's go TDM, promote yourself. Give us your expectations for the season for the Bruins.
I have nothing to say about myself, and the season record I predicted was 9-3. I look forward to the season actually being here, and look forward to talking shop with everybody, and excited we're finally here.
I'm next. All right, we'll see. I'm just excited that we've got a new era for SC. But there's a lot of teams with some new eras. It's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to everybody. Glad to have the season back. Fight on, Trojans.
Thank you, Tony. We love you. You know that.
Yeah, I want to thank Mark Rogers for having me on the show. Ben, thank you for the invite. I'm just a great college football fan. Love it. And I'm excited that USC is a serious player now, along with a lot of other teams this year. A lot of change in college football, and the changes that are happening at LSU, Notre Dame, Miami, Texas. I know I'm missing a few schools, but it's going to be a fun ride, and really excited to be working with Mark and TJ and Prangley on the USC postgame show. Big shout out to, I think, Connor Johnson, who's an Oregon State fan. He was in the chat, and he was saying that we're going to get a beaver tail slap when the Trojans go up to Corvallis. I love that spirit. Bring it on in, because we're on the USC 2-year hate tour. I love it. Fight on.
Yeah, I just
see.
I just wanted to thank, again, I'm really overwhelmed with how many people came to support the show. I did want to say a special thank you to all the people that dropped a super chat, including Johnny Touchdown and Florida, but more so the guys that have real questions, like John Barron, Shoelace.
Yes, thank you to the real questions, people.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, because we would do this for free.
Hold on, we got another one here. We got to recognize it really quickly here. Erica dropping gold here.
I think that Frost is gone.
Shh.
Yeah, I don't think he has much. He ends the season on I wonder if he makes it there, but he better. The Oklahoma game is going to open your eyes. If Oklahoma blows them out, he may not survive. Past what's the date? There's a date sometime this year
October 1st.
He will not survive that date. So they better either be at least competitive with Oklahoma or pull off the upset. Otherwise, he's gone.
Because
the last 3 games,
brutal. Year, at least.
But I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you, Ben, for getting everything organized together. This is really fun. I'm gonna go pass out now, but I miss all you guys. I don't know if I'll be on tonight, but I will definitely see you guys soon.
Yeah, get well, Tim. Get well, Tim. We appreciate you as always.
See you, Tim.
That's weird. He has my logo as.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, wait, hold on.
D4. What we got?
Yeah, man. Thanks to Mark Rogers. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. I may be a Texas fan, but I produce content that is way beyond Texas, and I produce it for, all across America. So if you want to check me out, it's D4 Sports with the exclamation mark. If you guys want to sub me up and check out my content, got a lot this week, game previews. Mark Rogers will be a part of that. Jordan will be a part of that. Will be a part of that, and Ben as well. So we appreciate everybody again. And if y'all want to check me out, I greatly appreciate that. And Jordan will drop my link in the comment section again for me.
Oh, yeah.
Drop in even in the private chat, and I'll put it up as the main chat too.
Yeah, and it's 12:03 a.m. and Oklahoma still sucks. Y'all have a great night.
All right, D4. Jordan, the Clemson man.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben, for organizing this. Thanks to everybody that was on the panel. Thank you guys in the chat for tuning in. This really means a lot. This was really cool. First show. We got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but once it got going, that was really good. And those 2 hours flew by. So once again, thank you guys. You can find me on I'm also on D4 Sports channel as he mentioned. We do a show every Thursday. Not every Thursday, every Wednesday at 8:00 called College Football Across America. So make sure you tune into that when you subscribe to D4. And I also check out the game previews that are coming later this week. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is at Jobo, JOBO at 0209. So if you guys want to follow me, I mainly post about Clemson, but I also comment on other stuff. So feel free to give me a follow. I might follow back. Thank you guys, and I will catch you all later.
Thank you, Jordan. We appreciate the Clemson man being here, as always. Michigan.
All right, yeah, all the strays Michigan is catching in the chat today. I will say real quick, thank you, Mark Rogers. Thank you, Ben, for facilitating and everybody who is part of this. Quick shout out to George and Cheryl, who are just voice of CFB OGs and just holding it down. Guys, Michigan, I was just talking to the players, some of the players on our NIL chat a couple hours ago. They are fired up. They are ready for this season, and they're ready to prove some people wrong. And so that was cool. For me, John Diadamo, at John Diadamo on Twitter. I don't have a channel yet, but I'm on everybody's stuff. You can say hi. But thanks, everybody, and we'll be seeing you soon. Go Blue.
Appreciate you, John, as always, and we will continue this in a moment. Will.
Hey, guys. I also don't have a channel yet. I want to make one soon, but I'm also on a lot of people's shows, and it's just a lot of fun being with this community, how everyone's so accepting of one another, even if they don't like each other's teams. I just think we create a fun, healthy environment just to talk some college football, and I'm happy that everyone showed up to watch the show. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I thought there would be like 40 people in the show, but we had like 200 at one point. So it's really awesome that everyone supports everyone else's stuff that they create. So yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of this awesome college football community.
Exactly. That's the whole point of this, and the whole point of the Discord community. It's just we get to come together, chat, bullshit all day long, and it's just what we do. I mean, it's college football season. It's going strong right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Will. We will talk to you in a little bit. So we're going to be getting off here literally in just a second. I'm going to drop one more link in the chat. If you want to join in on us on the show here and support Mark Rogers, subscribe to the channel. Find your team channels. Like the videos. And then if you want to get with us here on these live shows or on our after parties, I'm going to drop the link here. Sorry, I kind of screwed that up. But I'm going to post it here in a second. But we appreciate everyone for tuning in. It's been amazing, despite our technical difficulties that we had at the very beginning, which luckily we solved and we will not have happen again. Here's the link. Please join Mark on Patreon. Then you get Discord link. You get to join all of us and chat college football 24/7, 365, and the after parties. Because after this, here in a couple minutes, we're going to keep talking. That's what we do. If you are curious and interested, it's up to you guys. I'm going to also go ahead and drop my link. I am exploring with Ben I'm on here. I'm going to be with D4. I'm on Joey Foster and Golden Blue Dude, and my own personal channel here on YouTube. Check it out if you like. Subscribe if you want. I'll put in the chat, and I put in the wrong one. It's under Mark Rogers. That's okay. We're on his thing. So, once again, we appreciate you guys. This has been a great showing tonight for the first show. We will be back next week for sure, Sunday evening, following Mark's post-game show of FSU LSU. So, once again, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the whole panel for being here, and thank you all for the support. We appreciate it, and Mark does. Have a good one, guys.